Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Don Show number 1512 BP. This is a brass-plated hinge pin doorstop is what it is. It's a hinge pin doorstop, certainly, is first and foremost what this is. This is in the BP finish, which would be brass, brass colored, brass tone. It's not brass plated at all. This would not be brass plating on this material. It's just a brass sort of color that will complement your polished or even your satin brass finishes. This will be available, speaking of the different finishes, this will be available in the BP for brass, CP for chrome, a chrome plated, and then 613. It won't be oil rub bronze, which is what 613 means, but it will be a dark bronze sort of color. Now, this is a device that you install generally in the top hinge of the door to stop the door at a specific degree. It's not a very elegant way to stop a door, but it will certainly stop a door, and if you don't expect any... It's not elegant because it's a very brute stop. It is a very fixed and point of stop that pushing the door any further open will certainly damage something. The door, the frame, the hinge for sure. It is very commonly used in those instances when you do not expect any sort of abuse or vandalism. Adult used, let's say, where you don't expect anything to go into it. You just want to stop a door from getting too far open, and you're not going to push it past that at all. Now, the way that this works, and there is a link below this video to a document called Installation Instructions, is the following. Let's go over it. So, you will disassemble the unit first. You're going to unthread the cap on the top, and if you need to use an Allen wrench, you can do so. Unthread that. Don't lose any of the three parts that you're going to have. You'll have your cap, and you'll have your limiter, and you'll have your pin. The pin will slide down into the hinge after you have then removed the hinge pin. Let's go over a couple of dimensions. The diameter of this hinge pin is 0.312, so it's 5/16 of an inch diameter, so keep that in mind, 0.312. The length of the pin itself is about 4 1/8. So if you're using a 3.5 inch hinge, if this pin will even fit into that space, which I'm quite sure that it will not, keep in mind 0.312 and then 4 inch long. You'll slide this down in, get it tapped down to where you want it. You want to then take this portion and rotate it either way so that it touches the back side of the hinge leaf on the frame. You're going to want to make sure that this is pushed all the way to the frame, and the installation instructions illustrates that in step 3A is where it shows, well, in step 2. Then what you'll do is you'll open your door to where you know you want it to stop. You'll slide the limiter into the assembly at that degree. So now the door is hitting this shoulder is hitting the frame hinge. Then, of course, you'll cap the top and complete the installation. You can see that the door will absolutely stop at that point, and that you can get the idea that if you continue to push it is how you'll really bend the hinge and potentially tear the hinge screws off of the door or the frame. So just be aware, this is a device that will absolutely stop the door, but in those conditions where it's best used are ones that you don't expect it to get any really pushed beyond. There are cases when a hinge pin doorstop like this is a great idea, where you don't have the opportunity to mount a floor mounted doorstop, or a baseboard mounted doorstop, or a wall stop, or the best, really it would be considered an overhead stop, a slide track sort of design that you're going to see in commercial applications. It is therefore unrealistic to install certain pieces of hardware to really solve the problem. There's, in addition to the installation instructions to review the balance of that, we've covered all the data that's actually on that page. So if you have any questions on installation, feel free to reach out to us. There is also on the page a link to a document called Template, okay, which will give you all the dimensional properties of the unit beyond what we've already discussed. Now keep in mind that the extended description below this states that for door adjustment opens to 170 degrees. So you can set this so that these two plates are very close together so that you can achieve a very, very wide opening. So it's going to look a lot more like that. Okay. Features: works with commercial grade standard weight hinges. What that means is you've got to have a hinge that's either 4-inch, well, you should be able to use it with a 3.5 or a 4 or a 4.5, but that are considered standard weight, not the thin residential hinges that are about 90 thousandths of an inch thick. The thickness of the leaf of your hinge is going to have to be certainly 1/8 of an inch, actually heavier than 1/8 of an inch. So if you're putting a tape measure on the leaf thickness, it'll be well below 1/8, or it will certainly be 1/8 and heavier, actually, is really how you know. And then, of course, brass plated again. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Donjo products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, along with a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Donjo number 1512, brass-plated hinge pin doorstop, or any other Donjo product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.